BJ from Game Gumbo. I've got my guest here, Eric Alvarado. We're talking music-themed games and a game that's out on Kickstarter right now, along with a host of other vinyl paraphernalia. It's Vinyl Jukebox, a new two-player game from Eric Alvarado. Eric, give us the elevator pitch. What is Jukebox all about?
Sure. So basically with Jukebox, you are actually constructing your own personal jukebox. You are basically drawing these coins that have the different properties of the 45s. In that picture, you actually see coins with country, with rock, 60s, B, and such. And you're drawing those coins out of a bag. And what you're trying to do is place those coins in either the top or bottom slot with the goal of trying to match 45s there in the center of the table. When you acquire a 45, you put it into your personal jukebox and spend those coins and move them down into the coin box, with the ultimate goal of trying to create a 3x3 grid of 45s. Now, interesting enough for the game, there's two methods of scoring. There's a public-based scoring where you actually, there you go, where you're actually trying to align the scoring tokens to each of the rows or columns based on what you've been able to collect and what's out there. So there's a head-to-head competition for getting those public scoring tiles. And then in addition to the public scoring, you have your own private goal, which is giving you points on specifically where 45s are located, as well as how well you've done with regards to collecting a specific decade, a specific side, or both. The game
that's those little blue cards there at the bottom. Right?
Correct. Yes. They'll have a representation of the 3x3 grid. They can be oriented however you want, and you'll get additional points for getting specific genres in key locations, and then, like I was mentioning, decades and sides accordingly. Again, it is a two-player game. That's one of the things that was requested multiple times. You know, Vinyl's a solid game at two players, but there's a lot to set up and whatnot. And people just want to break it out at Starbucks, have fun, pick it up, and go. So Jukebox was born, and I always had this concept of, goodness gracious, is there something to do with Jukebox and quarters? And it just hit me in a blinding flash of white light, and lo and behold, Jukebox was born, and actually came together pretty darn fast. It was just a joy to see this one come to fruition.
What's cool about vinyl, I played the early version of the original Vinyl, and then I've played Vinyl Jukebox. And what I was amazed is that Vinyl Jukebox, the two-player game, it really has the feeling of what you were doing in the Vinyl, in the regular game, and yet it's a unique twist on it. It really is. I can't wait to see, because Talon Strikes is known for how graphically you beautify these games. I can't wait to see what you're going to do with those player boards. I'm imagining in my mind, it's going to really have the elements of our classic juke joint jukeboxes, and it got the little coin slot at the top for the next play. So I can't wait to see what y'all are planning to do. But how did you do that? Where you take this big 4-player game and just, is it 4 or 5? The original Vinyl.
It could go 2 to 5, and actually 1 to 5 with up to 5. Yes.
And how did you distill that down to a 2-player game? What were you trying to do?
I think the big piece was, it's funny because the picture that you had of Gen Con, the concept really focused in on the set collection. And then when I signed with Talon, we wound up building the theme out with respect to, hey, you are the person using the knowledge from magazine cards to collect albums. And it became this massive, awesome experience that, each of the different iterations of vinyl twist up the mechanisms just enough to instill a lot of the theme. When it came to Jukebox, I wanted to go back to the original roots. I'm like, okay, can I go the opposite direction? Can I lighten you still have the set collection aspect, but just lighten that feel, and probably in March, April timeframe, playing a lot of quacks, and the notion of, okay, pulling tokens out of a bag, that was interesting. I have Altipiano, I have New Orleans, so all these games, I'm like, goodness gracious, can we do this with vinyl? And it, like I said, it just hit me. It's like, okay, wait a second here. Tokens are quarters. Quarters carry the properties. Okay, I could put them into slots. Oh, wait a second, I got the slots that then could drop in a coin box. Oh, wait a second, I could do this next play thing, and I'm pulling out, and then the stacking, and it just was whack, 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 whack. And it's just, you just, in those instances, I've learned just to ride the wave. Do not fight it. Just go with it. And that's really what it came to be.
And it really does feel smooth, and it's got a little bit of that, bag building, and that's one of the things that I liked about it. But not permanently. You're grabbing those bonus coins or tokens, putting them in your bags, with the understanding that when you use them, they're going back into the bonuses. But still, I can look through the bonuses and say, "Oh, I can really use that combo 60s and cowboy together and chain up those things." Because after playing it, the 2 or 3 times we played it, we've really noticed that working on that objective is the way to score some points, especially in comparison to filling out the 3x3 grid. Obviously you got to get that 3x3 grid. Whichever player is not really working on that 3x3 grid, the private objectives aren't going to get met either. So you gotta stay. It's almost like a race. You and your partner are almost racing each other to try to get those cards.
Right. Well, it's interesting. I mean, I've played it numerous times since inception. It's one of those things that when players first play it, they're like, okay, well, I'm just willy-nilly collecting 45s. And then after they lose, they go, wait a second, what just happened here? Then they're like, okay, wait a second, I got to pay attention to these scores. Because I've seen situations where someone goes for 3 rock, and they're all happy, I got 3 rock, and 3 rock is not there. Why isn't 3 rock there? Well, I told you. At the beginning of the game, one of the 3 scoring tokens is taken out per category. I didn't know that. Well, it's right there. The dialogue is hilarious when you're playing with the game, and then
you got to pay attention. And we've been rotating it, so each game has been different. Sometimes there's a 3 and a 1. Sometimes there's a 2 and a 1. So you're all cheering, and then you realize, oh, I got the 3, and only the 2 is available, or your partner takes it right before you. I did have a question when you're sliding those coins. So let's say you take the 3 coins off and you grab something from the middle. Do you, this is the way we were doing it. We were sliding the coins back to the left. Okay. I just want to make sure we were doing it right. And then the other question I had for you that just wasn't clear to me from the 2 or 3 plays we had. The black diamonds represent a little bit of player interaction between the other person. If I push my luck and keep pulling those coins out, hey, I've got a great chance to either set up a 45 this round, to grab one this round, or to set up one for next round. But if I go into the black diamonds, I'm giving what I assume the theory behind it is that I'm giving my partner a free pull from the coins.
Correct. That's exactly that.
If it goes on the black diamonds, then it doesn't count, right?
Correct. If your opponent puts on a black diamond, you just gave him a freebie. So it's one of those tension elements. Like, oh, do I push this? Oh, do I push this again? And that's where you could get people like, I'm gonna help you. Actually, it's interesting because again, one of the things with this game, it's all about the timing, because I've seen people really drain their bag where they have maybe a pull, and the opponents, they can ask, okay, how many tokens do you have in your bag? Oh, I have 1. Oh, okay. And they start programming their board.
And you're getting nothing.
You just sit there like, oh, crap. Yeah, exactly.
One more player interaction. And then you also have a little bit more also when you get those scoring tokens on the side of your 3x3 grid, if ever you pull a token and you use that coin and the coin matches up to one of those scoring grids, what happens?
So yeah, what happens is that, again, going with the notion of bag builder, one of the things that in the version that you're playing, we have the rival token. So the notion is that when you're the first person to score a group, you actually dump a coin into your opponent's bag. So essentially pollutes their bag. So if they were looking for country, guess what? They just got country because that's what you were collecting. In that same vein, when it comes your turn, you can actually thin down your bag. So you have this ability to sort of shape your bag while also messing with your opponent's bag in that same vein. So again, it's just ever so subtle, in the sense that it's increasing that player interaction and some of the tension and messing with the odds. It's not predictable what's in your bag as you progress in the game. Yeah, it's interesting. I think you would agree. It's that game that's like, okay, I'm just pulling tokens, and that first turn, it's okay. This is boring. And then when you hit that second one, you're like, whoa, wait a second here.
Exactly.
You're getting stuff. I don't like you getting stuff. I'm not lining things up. Things aren't matching. This is getting nuts. Do I do this way, that way? Yeah. It ramps up pretty darn fast at that first turn.
That's where I saw the influence of Orleans in it. Orleans, let's face it, the first turn-ish, even with Quacks, the first turn-ish, there's not a lot that happens. And then as soon as you get to the second turn, you're like, oh, wow, now I understand what's going on. Same thing with Jukebox. Maybe the first turn, you're really just – I'll tell you what I've done now with my first turn. I'm really trying to look at the 3x3 grid. I mean, with the market. I can't remember how many in the market. How many cards do you have in the market?
The coins? Yeah. The coins are the scoring tokens.
No, the actual market of
the market 3x3 9. Yeah. 9 total.
Yeah. And I started looking at what I'm doing on that first turn now is I'm looking at the patterns, and I love the way, and I'm assuming this is going to be in the final version. At first I was like, oh, there's so many icons, but the way that Talon Strikes designed them, it's really in little sections, and you can quickly look at each section, know exactly, oh, I need 60s. Oh, that's where they line up. It becomes very intuitive after the first turn. Just takes it. Here's the other thing, Eric, that I like. One of the things I like about two-player games is I like a game like a Lost Cities or a Jaipur where it's so interesting, but your partner did something better than you, and you're like, let's play again.
Yeah,
This game, it takes a little bit to set up. Once you have it set up, it is unnatural to play again and again. You don't want to play it just once. You want to play it 2 or 3 times in a row because the game's already set up. You're just putting things back up.
Yep, agreed. Yeah, it plays. I've played Jukebox in 20 minutes and get 3 games in, and yeah, it flows. I mean, it's one of those pieces like, why did I mess this up? That's right. And again, it's that timing. It's looking for when things are coming out and how people are reacting to it. It's got some interesting subtleties there. Yeah.
That's Vinyl Jukebox. It's out on Kickstarter right now, 2-player game. If you liked Vinyl, you're going to see a lot to like in Vinyl Jukebox. Eric, I think it's a great 2-player game. I mean, this is one that we've had a lot of fun. You can play back to back to back. Like you said, you can play 2 or 3 times an hour. It's super easy. What's Kickstarter just started today? Is that right?
Yeah, no, it just launched today. We actually did. So now the anthology is essentially 6 games deep. So you have the base game, the original game. We redid the cover art on all the games. You see a sample there in Jukebox where the concept is you get that album circle popping through the center of the box, and that's been real well received. But yeah, you have the base game. We redid the art on Masters of Metal for the cover. We did the art on British Invasion, on Totally Awesome 80s. And then Big Band was also released with Jukebox. So technically we got 2 games that are being added into the mix. Big Band focuses specifically on the 1940s, where just like the big band era. So you had swing and jazz were the hot genres. You are basically collecting albums in those particular genres with respect to instruments, 4 core instruments, as well as 2 speeds of records. And you are basically just trying to, it draws a lot of the simplicity that Masters of Metal and British Invasion does, where you're just collecting on the genre. But in order to retire your collection, you need one of each of the instruments. And then whatever you retire with will dictate if it's all matches, you'll get the highest points. If there's not many matches, then you'll get the lower points. And so you have to time that. The thing with Big Band, it's a little deceiving, is it can tend to be a little aggressive, unfortunately. I think I ramped up the player interaction probably way too high. I've had some moments where people get, you took that album, that was my album. And it's one of those, it's funny because I've had a lot of people say that was awesome. That was definitely in your face awesome. Because with vinyl, it tends to be a little softer. Big Band, it's just out there. Here, 1 shot, 1 copy, get it or don't. So definitely, and then obviously Jukebox also was brought out today. Oh, there's Eric.
Yeah, I don't think he was looking. So hey, we got a surprise guest here, Eric Buscemi. Eric, I didn't realize you and Eric know each other, and I'm talking to both Erics at the same time.
Yeah, we live one town away from each other. We're in the same local game group. Yeah.
Eric Alvarado, I think Eric Buscemi has also played Vinyl Jukebox. Is that right?
Yes.
That is correct. I've only played online, even though he only lives one town away. Due to the current state of things, we played on Tabletopia.
Yeah, I've gotten a chance to play it. I just got it in, so I had to hurry up and get my plays in this weekend before playing it. I really like it. Eric, as you know, I'm an excellent tactical two-player game player. Eric Alvarado Buscemi destroys me every time we play two-player tactical games.
We played some War Chest on Yukata recently, and
it was my dinghy didn't survive his battleship in War Chest at all. It was a destruction.
You showed up to the battle with white flags.
Exactly. Now this might be a different story, Buscemi, though, because I'm not too bad at pattern recognition. So
all right,
may be different. Those special powers in War Chest. Oh man, he just destroys me. I'm sitting there trying to learn all my cards and remember what I'm doing, and Buscemi's running around the board just picking off people. I think in the 2 games we played, I only got 1 of his tokens off the board.
Oh wow.
Not too good. Yeah, so you played. I didn't want to steal your thunder, Buscemi. What did you think of a Vinyl 2-player?
I enjoyed it a lot. I love any. I mean, like I have a whole shelf in my collection that's just 2-player only games. Like all those, smaller like Targi, 7 Wonders Duel. I recently got Imitep Duel, Agricola, All Creatures Big and Small. I could list them all day, but I love that's like right in my wheelhouse. The half an hour 2-player versions of other games, and this one fits right into that. Now I enjoyed it online, but as I wish I remembered who said this because I really I owe them a debt. But like playing online is like trying to play a board game wearing boxing gloves. So I mean, we played probably sub 40 minutes, but I feel like if it was on the table, we could have banged the game out in 20 minutes. It would have been.
Our plays are way under 30 minutes, 25 minutes.
Exactly.
Like that.
So, you got to factor in, like everything takes double online, which is still okay with a 20-minute game. But when you get into a 2-hour game that all of a sudden takes 4 hours.
In fact, Alvarado, you got to watch out. This game kind of sneaks up on you. The end game comes quicker than you think. People start getting that bag kind of tuned to what's on the board, and then boop, 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 they pop out the 45s.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's interesting. It's that gaming curve. If you're not watching the gaming curve, you will get crushed by the gaming curve.
All right, so that's Vinyl Jukebox. It is out on Kickstarter right now. Check out the link. Berla and Steve have tagged the link in the show for the chat crew, but it's just getting started, so you got plenty of time to check it out.